orphaned, abandoned or trafficked? That's the question facing foreigners hoping to adopt a child in Nepal. It's hard to get a clear answer when organizing adoptions has been a lucrative business here in recent years. To stop child trafficking, the government tightened adoption laws, but critics say loopholes have created other problems. I'm Chan Tao Cho. In this edition of 101 East, we investigate an industry in Nepal that exploits the desire to give a child a better life. It's a 12-hour journey from Nepal's rural Raswa district to the capital city of Kathmandu. Lachin Gale says his daughter was adopted from a children's home without his consent. He's making the trip to find out what happened.
In our village, there were a few children from poor families who were taken to a children's home in Kathmandu. So I knew of this place and thought I should also leave my children there. I could not educate them in the village. All they were doing was carrying manure and taking care of livestock. Education would give them a better future. That's why I went to Kathmandu and left them there. The officials knew they have parents because I dropped them there. So I think if they were going to send one child away, they should have asked me. When I asked them where my child was, they said she had gone to America. They gave me a little piece of paper with just the names of the new parents, without even an email address.
That was 3 years ago. Gale was a farmer struggling to make ends meet for his family. Having left 2 daughters in a children's home, he discovered his youngest, Rista, had been adopted during one of his yearly visits. In shock, he immediately took his other daughter, Sita, out of the home. He brought her here to the Umbrella Foundation, a non-government organization that rescues destitute children. Sita, now 14 years old, lived and received education here.
Child adoption is a big thing because it's not a proper watchdog looking out for these, managing this, because it's left up to people kind of getting money under the table to fund these illegal adoptions. Yeah, it is a big concern.
A few months ago, the home sent Gale pictures of Rista, now 8 years old, with her adoptive family in the US. He hopes Umbrella can help find out what happened. It's a happy reunion for Sita and her friends. But things were different when she first arrived, traumatized from losing her sister.
My sister was taken when she was sleeping. I feel so surprised, and for a time I cried also because she used to live with me, and when she became far from me, then I feel so pity. When other children adopt, then I used to feel so afraid because the staff and the older sisters, they never used to say about adoption.
With the help of Umbrella, we contact the home, Nepal Children's Organization. Commonly known as Bal Mandir, it is funded by the government. Most of the children here are orphaned or abandoned. This year, it changed management following past complaints of malpractice. We're not allowed to film inside.
Regarding Gale's case, when the child grows up, she may decide to return for a visit. We have cases of that, so we'll try to locate their relatives.
He's an uneducated man at the start. Was everything explained to him clearly?
Even after people give up children to Bal Mandir, we tell them clearly that the child can be taken by anyone for international or domestic adoption. We tell them the repercussions and that we are the ones now responsible for the child.
Was it necessary to inform Mr. Gale that his daughter had been given up for adoption?
Once they come to Bal Mandir, it is with the understanding that the child has nobody, that the child's parents is just Bal Mandir.
I didn't think they would just take someone's child away. I thought they were only helping a poor man's children and would send them back home. If she's with good people, rich people, she might as well stay there. I just wish to see her once in a while.
For more than a decade, the adoption industry has been big business in Nepal, one of the poorest countries in the world. A third of its people live on $1.25 a day. For every international adoption, orphanages and children's homes earned $5,000. The government received another $3,000. Additional fees to agencies and middlemen could increase the total amount by 2 to 3 times. Since the year 2000, families, mostly from North America and Europe, adopted more than 2,400 Nepali children. In 2007, Nepal stopped international adoptions for 2 years to investigate claims of child trafficking. But law enforcement was weak when it resumed. Seeing a lack of improvement, the US and 10 other countries stopped granting visas to Nepali children by the end of last year.
They do not have a system that we believe is sufficient to protect children and for us to be able to be sure that the child is in fact an orphan. The parents are told, your child is going to go to Kathmandu and get an education, and then he'll be able to come back and support you. When the children often get to Kathmandu, they are put into care, they're put out to work. Some of them are adopted without their parents' permission. These are not orphans.
In response, Nepal's government suspended international adoptions for abandoned children. Often found in hospitals or near police stations, it was easy for children's homes to take them in, falsify their papers, and present them as orphans for adoption. While waiting for new laws, the government says there have been no international adoptions this year. But the crackdown is too late for many people.
They promised that my children will be back when they are 18 years old. My daughter must be 13 now, and my son is around 10.
When Lakshmi Shrestha handed 2 of her 4 children to a woman 5 years ago, she was told they were going to a home where they would be fed and educated. It seemed like a good idea. At the time, she was struggling as a construction worker with 4 children and an abusive husband. Shrestha was promised photographs twice a year. She only received 1 set soon after, taken with foreigners at the home. She never heard from them again. They've been adopted, she was told, and will return when they are 18. Shrestha later remarried and had 2 more sons, but guilt and grief continue to haunt her.
I want to know why I haven't received photographs. I want to see my children's photos, and I want them to call me. That's the most important thing. I don't care about money. I just want them to have a good future. I sent them away when I had problems. I keep regretting it. I should have kept my babies with me.
But Shrestha hasn't given up her search. She takes us to the woman who set up her meeting with an employee of the home. Champa Paria, a seamstress, had also given up a daughter to the same home for adoption.
I just introduced her to the woman who sent my child abroad. The 2 of them spoke, and she ended up giving her children to the same woman.
I did not sign any piece of paper. I didn't do anything. I was made a fool in Baneshwar.
Paria says the woman gave her a sum of money equivalent to $350 when she handed over her daughter. She was told it was a donation from the adoptive parents.
I got nothing, 1,000 rupees.
1,000 rupees as taxi fare.
Seeking answers, Shrestha demands that Paria takes us to the orphanage. We travel to the outskirts of the city to a place called simply Children's Home. Government records show that in 2009 and 2010, 33 children were adopted from here. This man, Rajan Berlakoti, has been the home's coordinator for 15 years. The woman who collected Shresta's and Paria's children is Saraswati. He says she's no longer employed here.
She promised photographs of my children every year. It's been so many years. Why did she have to lie to me? I need my children's photographs. I don't need money. I sent my children away for an education. I did not send them away for good. I told Saraswati right from the beginning, I want my children to come back when they turn 18. Doesn't matter whether they stay or not. But I want to see them and I want regular photographs.
But it's uncertain if she will see her children again. What is the likelihood of a child who has grown up in a comfortable environment wanting to come back to this again? That seems to me like a very misleading clause to present to the parents.
I know there is something wrong with the adoption and it's not all clear, you know. You have to understand also. We cannot guarantee from the adoptive family because sometimes they also lie. You know, they send we send photographs every 6 months, 1 year like this, and sometimes they even lazy to email us.
The meeting goes on for nearly an hour. The adoption took place before the government's current policy review. Berlakoti says the children's home takes in needy kids, mostly orphaned or abandoned. International adoptions for them were easy under previous laws. Shrestha gives him her children's names and they exchanged numbers. How can we move forward from here?
Well, she's here now and it's good that we are in contact. So we will try to contact the family. I think they will be okay. And she will be in touch with the family.
How can you find that family to get in touch with?
We will have address of the adoptive family.
Shrestha promises to follow up, but her search for accountability isn't over. She believes Saraswati, the woman she handed her children to, has more information. Shrestha finds out where she lives and takes us there a few days later. Both women recognize each other immediately. Shrestha is in luck. Saraswati has photographs of the children, dated 2007. She says she tried to hand them over but couldn't find Shrestha. We ask why Shrestha was never shown the children's home and didn't receive any adoption papers.
Because she lied, now I'm a liar too. If I had taken her there, they would know the kids have parents. The office would not have approved the adoption. She said her husband was dead. That's why we helped. I said, if he's really dead, we better make the right paperwork for you as well. It's easier if we have papers saying the children's parents are both dead.
The lies meant the children's home never knew of Shrestha's existence. So there was no way to connect her with the adoptive parents once Saraswati stopped working there.
At least after seeing the photographs, I know they are alive. I get the sense they are doing well, but these photos are 4 years old. I will go to the organization and ask for regular photos. I'll ask them to get the family to stay in touch. That's what I plan to do.
Such stories are common in Nepal. The United Nations wants it to further tighten regulations.
Inter-country adoption can be named as only when it is in the best interest of the child. We need to take serious step about setting up a system on a community level, support mechanism on a community level for vulnerable families, where vulnerable families are provided with either targeted social assistance, with counseling, and with professional social workers working on a community level. What is very critical is to create a central authority that is very well trained, very well capacitated, very well funded, that is responsible for inter-country adoption, and to have a linkage between the village level, the district level, and the Kathmandu level. This is very important because this is where the cracks are happening.
But progress is slow. The civil servants in charge of adoptions during the height of irregularities are also the ones formulating new policy. It's a challenge for the newly appointed Minister for Women, Children and Social Welfare.
It's true that the state has not been able to take care of the children. I've just been here for a short time and I am studying the problem. I want to break new ground.
So why is it so difficult to get the job done?
The problem is that the old thoughts people have here and my new thoughts constantly clash. If people who have done wrong in the past can change their mindset, then we can keep them. If we are doing the same things, we can't.
While waiting for new adoption policies to be made, revenue from international adoptions is drying up. Orphanages with good records, like the Nepal Child Conservation Home, receive regular funding from overseas NGOs. But they need to generate more money to maintain the standard of care. To do that, Vice President Bol plans to start a daycare center here. And for these orphans, he hopes the government can soon firm up new policies so as to resume adoption.
They will get more love than us, I think. They will feel they are my own family, and they will get individual cares. In homes, I think we can't give that much love as a family gives.
But there are those who continue to see destitute children as a commodity. To show evidence of illegal practices, I carry out secret filming, posing as a church member, researching orphanages in Nepal for future missions. I meet two men from a travel agency who say they have links to 2 orphanages. They offer to take me around and more.
I can find one child for you if you want to adopt.
So I can see the child, I can meet the child first? Or?
Sure, yes. Without that, how can? Yeah, sure.
It's an alarm bell. People hoping to adopt are not allowed to choose a child based on an amendment to adoption laws. Instead, the government matches their requirements with a list of eligible children. But the man says I can choose a child to adopt and offers to start the ball rolling.
How much is the fee to do all this?
Something around 8,000-9,000 euro.
How long a time will you need to arrange that?
Something like 6 months.
How do we know that they really are orphans?
When you are going to take that children, you are going to meet with their parents, or relatives.
So sometimes they actually have parents, is it?
Yes, they have parents, but their parents cannot give, cannot feed them, cannot afford their education and health problem, medicine. From the village department community chief, he will give the paper.
So the village committee leader would say that this child is an orphan.
Yeah, he is like an orphan. Like an orphan or orphan.
And you know people in the government who can make it move faster?
Yes, because I work here all the year. I know I have some connection with police because we need police report as well. So I can make it anything. Well, it is bad, but sometimes it is easy as well, like under the table. We inform our government, you inform your government. And when your government ready, you ready, our government ready, and the children ready, and the parents of children ready. So it's okay, no?
On the way to another orphanage, which one of the men claims to own, the plot thickens as they make plans for our arrival.
अनि त्यहाँ यसो बच्चाहरूलाई यसो लाइन लाग्दै गर हैन अनि यिनीहरूले यसो फ्रुटहरु ल्याछ नि एउटा हातमा राखिदिन्छ हैन एउटा सानो इन्भाइरोमेन्ट गर हामीहरुलाई पनि यसो यहाँ गर्न है बच्चालाई फेरि
नमस्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते
you can take some like a financial part responsibility. You know, you can use money yourself in orphanage home. I give you one paper where you can write in rice 3 packet, this, that.
If we are raising funds, then who do we pass the money to help us buy these things?
Transport in our bank account of our organization.
These illegal children's homes, it's in their interest to keep the conditions looking very bad. So they keep the children sleeping on the floor, they don't send them to school. If the children look hungry, a tourist coming in is more likely to take their wallet out and give money. For years now we work closely with the Child Welfare Board and we have closed down corrupt children's homes in the Kathmandu Valley.
We follow an officer from the Central Child Welfare Board on a raid. Lochan Regmi says this home, Raswa Langtang, has fallen below standards. Based on government regulations, it's only big enough for 8 children, but houses 26.
This bedsheet has not been changed for the longest time. There are no hangers for clothes nor wardrobes. Imagine how 26 children live here. When we came the last time, all the children had lice. They had contagious diseases. That's the situation they're in. Look at this. This is where they keep their clothes. The children's clothes are just thrown here.
Regmi is frustrated. This may well be a fruitless exercise. The Welfare Board has failed to shut down homes on several occasions. He says higher authorities sometimes ignore his reports, or such homes shut down temporarily, only to reopen under a different name and address.
I can't say that the government doesn't listen, but it's bad when they should listen but don't. Every time we raise an issue, we face the problem of limited budgets.
With a lack of resources, the Child Welfare Board relies greatly on help from NGOs for its work. Next Generation Nepal houses rescued children, helps trace their families and reunites them. Country Director Farid Mansoor says these children were anything but cheerful when they first arrived.
Because they need to protect themselves, they don't trust in the adults anymore. So the first step is really to create a relation and to show them that they are safe here and that no one will harm them anymore. But usually, like after a few weeks, the children are fine and they learn how to trust into the adults again and they learn how to become a child again.
One of them, Dharma Kaki, was in a home for more than a year.
No food, no clothes. Like our parents were fake, no. Like they just told we are going to give you education, but in the real we are not getting education.
Were they all told to pretend to be orphans?
Yeah, like to say I'm an orphan was kind of rule.
If you say that you have parents, what will happen?
For that, we were threatened. Like my friends were also threatened. No? Like if we say, oh, I have got parents, then like we were not their children. No? Like we used to be threatened.
Threatened with what?
Sometimes beating as well, and sometimes they used to scold.
Next Generation Nepal reunited Dharma with his parents 5 years ago. Now 15 years old, he returned to live and continue his education here.
I want to be social worker because if there were no social worker in this world, I could not get education now. Because of social worker, I got this life. So it's better if I reflect this light on other people.
Dharma is among the lucky ones. For others, the light at the end of the tunnel may be far away.
No one has been prosecuted for taking children under false pretenses from their parents. And until the Nepalese really care about what is happening to their children, these abuses will continue.
In April 2009, Nepal's government said it intended to be a part of the Hague Adoption Convention. Ratified by more than 80 countries, it sets the rules for child protection and international adoptions. But until today, Nepal has yet to put down a binding signature despite the need for better laws. For many vulnerable children, the clock is ticking.